If you don't have a plan, but you live right, you don't need a plan. Like our communities historically didn't have big management plans. You just learn to live with the land right. You take only what you need and you don't upset the balance. So you know you have a whole set of conventions and practices of the way you work with and live with land that keep you doing that. But in this world, we try to take as much as we can. And so when you start pushing the edges like this, you definitely should be having, and especially when you have so many users who need to be coordinated. This is not just forestry. This is urbanization, this is oil and gas, this is minerals, this is developed recreation, agriculture, all these things together. The land doesn't care whether you're building a ski hill or doing a forestry clear cut. It's all the same to the land. It's impact. And so when you have multiple things going on, you need some kind of plan to tell you how we are going to do this across the landscape. You could do it with guidelines, but it's really hard for investors to work with guidelines. If you're doing ecologically based forestry, which means you are trying to manage to keep the ecosystem and the ecology healthy as your base objective, your priority, then yes, you have to have some plan that spatially thinks about how am I going to do this over time. And it's not about what you're taking, it's about what you're leaving. It's like what kind of a complex are you leaving so that this ecosystem, you maintain ecosystem integrity. Ecosystem integrity means that you keep all of the parts and the processes and the relationships functioning. So you kind of build a list of everything that's there, and then you work at fitting into that and not permanently disrupting those patterns. So for a First Nation, this starts with setting up an effective G2G foundation. So you can build the rest of the planning process and lay it out in this G2G. You both approve of terms of reference. You figure out how everybody else fits in and work out planning methodology. Your second outcome is coming up with an acceptable methodology that does manage for ecosystem health, landscape resistance and resiliency, and it effectively integrates local knowledge, particularly Indigenous knowledge and science. So you have to come up with a way of doing that, a planning methodology, and then building a plan. So you're going to try some stuff, and you're going to learn some stuff in a hurry. You're going to go, okay, we should change that. But you need to build in that kind of learning and adaptation cycle into the process. So that actually, for me, I call it an outcome too, is building that in properly so that this thing can grow from your experience. When you manage for ecosystem health, what you do is you look at how do I keep the ecosystem healthy? And then I take what it can give me after I do that. If you're serious about wanting to be, fulfill your inherent stewardship responsibility, then you have to take this kind of an approach. And you can't just do it on your own. You can go away and write your own plan, but nobody has to look at it. Nobody has to listen to it. And frankly, you're trying to impose your will on the rest of the world, and you can do it a certain amount, but it's a hell of a lot better if you can kind of educate and bring the rest of the world along and all be party to this and lead this and have them all believing it and wanting to follow it and understanding why you're doing things and helping it improve over time. And you're leading that. That to me is truly fulfilling your inherent stewardship responsibility to your land.